think every single thing for me comes back to the bottom line, which is the passion that drives me. That passion can only come from one place, which is wanting to make a difference, wanting to make the things that give you value in life persist. There can only be a devotion to what your mission is, and my mission is to make that difference.
Involved in the natural world her entire life, Holly Dublin has made a career by taking the knowledge gained from extensive study and fieldwork, coupling it with intuition and tremendous communication skills.
I think I'm a serious networker. So the minute I see one thing over here and hear another thing over there, I think I have to put those two people together, because I don't know it, but I know that they're talking about the same thing and I should get them together. So I think that's a major skill that I have.
After working in the field with African elephants early in her career, Holly Dublin became instrumental in forming the African Elephant Range State Dialogue, the most sophisticated and comprehensive African elephant database in the world. At the height of the ivory trade in the 1980s, Dublin worked to bring understanding between the various countries involved.
The African Elephant Range State Dialogue was probably one of the most fascinating processes I've ever been involved with. It started from a total impasse, from a place where people could no longer even speak to each other, largely around the ivory trade. And so the conceptualization of it was, let's try and find out what we have in common. And they just began to communicate, and I think they haven't stopped since. And it just keeps growing. It's incredible. It gave Africa a voice.
As the chair of the Species Survival Commission, a subgroup of the World Conservation Union, Dublin oversees a worldwide partnership that includes nearly 10,000 scientists and experts from 181 countries. It is Dublin who is charged with the monumental task of taking the vast amounts of information from the field to the world's decision makers in hopes of creating change and awareness.
Holly started in the field, and that was absolutely critical in the making of what she is. She's been involved very, very widely across Africa, looking at a very wide spectrum of elephant problems and many other problems too.
She knows what important research and important conservation initiatives are, and I think she is a great leader and a great inspiration to people working in these various specialist groups.
I know Holly in a lot of the policy negotiations around the world, where she represents the face of species at the top intergovernmental levels, and has done an enormous good in getting species back on the map when the trend was against it.
I looked for an opportunity of where could I use this deep technical training that I have about species conservation and a particular skills area that I've developed, which has a lot to do with diplomacy, and it has a lot to do with how do you translate from one technical language to another. And the message and messaging is very, very tricky because you often have an extremely short period of time to get the message across.
Looking towards the future, she continues to promote awareness of the natural world while understanding the importance of man's role in it.
Collective responsibility is something that we should all have some feeling for, that there is a collective responsibility, and your individual behavior, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, is part of that collective responsibility. And I think that's the great irony of the field that many of us are in. We started out wanting to study these species that are not human, and in the end what we discovered was the only way to save them is to become better at dealing with other humans.